Part 50. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 492. Chapter 492, Opening. After asking them some normal questions, I found that these people were very good-natured and had no objection to Xiaoxiu's proposal, so I accepted these people directly. At present, the pharmaceutical factory is mainly based on Huitongfang, and it happens to be short of manpower, so it won't be a problem for him to bring in some new people. Are you still willing to study medicine? This is the most important thing. The four people who were pointed out immediately nodded, "We are willing." Hearing this answer, Uncle Zhao was satisfied. "Well, if it's convenient, can you come with me later?" He was very busy now. The four of them looked at me, and I looked at you, and finally looked at Umu, who looked at Xiaopeng sincerely. It is as if these 10 people are dominated by Xiaopeng. Seeing Xiaopeng nod, Umu also nodded. Looking at it from the side, I thought it was quite funny. A kid of 12 or 13 years old actually became the home of 10 adults. Don't worry, Grandpa Zhao is a good man, he will take good care of them. Xiaopeng knew that they were asking themselves. So he said directly, "Grandpa Zhao, they are my good friends. You and Uncle Hua can't treat them badly." "You brat, okay, Grandpa Zhao won't treat them badly." Uncle Zhao immediately became happy when Xiaopeng teased him. So, Uncle Zhao came and left as quickly as he came, and he left the He family with the four of them in a short while. Take them to the company first to get familiar with them. The place where they live in the company is very convenient, including food and accommodation, so that they are not afraid of treating them badly. After the four of them looked at the environment, they also met Boss Hua, whom Grandpa Zhao said, and they would like to work with their team in the future. They had never seen many things before and it was very novel. But these are what they will learn in the future, and everyone is very happy. Of course, even if they understand medicine, there is still a difference between Chinese medicine and Western medicine. Fortunately, the Chinese medicine department of Huaxi Pharmaceutical has a place for them to gain a foothold. After Uncle Zhao made arrangements, there were still 6 people in the He family. Mei Shui did not bother Qianziang and took over directly. "Qianziang quit, you don't plan to leave anyone for me, is this trip in vain?" Looking at his aggrieved look, Mei Shui rolled her eyes and rewarded him angrily, "You don't have medicated diets there, so what's the use of them?" She also talked about her prescription of medicated diets. After hearing this, Qianziang became interested. "I don't care, I want to invest in this." Once he heard it was a profitable business, he wouldn't let it go. He Ans and Mei Shui were speechless. Why is this guy so rogue? Can I say no? To be honest, she really didn't want to, because this was the first thing they did against their superiors. Cannot. In this way, the 3 people who knew how to grow medicinal materials were taken away directly by He Ans. If it weren't for Xiaopeng's return today, He Ans would still be staying in Bema village. Yumu is the one who knows how to grow medicinal herbs. As soon as he left, the remaining 3 people became a little embarrassed. "Don't be afraid. What you have to do now is to have a good rest and go to the store to help." In 2 days she had found the store, but the decoration hadn't started yet, so she had to wait a few days. As for the decoration, she went directly to Wang Xiaoyao. It was easy for him to handle the small store. In this way, the 3 of them settled down in the He family, so that the He family's courtyard was large enough to accommodate them. Mei Shui took them to the backyard to settle down before returning to the main hall. "Xiaopeng, why don't you tell the truth?" Mei Shui was very angry. A small trainer could actually make herself so embarrassed. If the injury hadn't healed yet, she would have wanted to beat him. "Mom, I didn't want to either. Who knew that Dabai and I were so unlucky that we actually went to the local worm valley?" Xiaopeng was also aggrieved. "Okay. You are still reasonable. Have you forgotten to be careful about everything?" Mei Shui didn't believe him. She must have been blinded by something at the time. otherwise she wouldn't have been so careless. You can only react when you get to the center. Xiaopeng couldn't refute, it was really his fault for being careless. I'm sorry, Mom, I won't do it again. He must remember the lesson this time. There is no next time, Mei Shui said sternly. She is still very concerned about the safety of her children. Xiao Chen was suppressed by his mother and did not dare to speak the whole time. Watching the second brother being reprimanded, he was afraid that he would be next. It was always like this in the past. As long as one of the eldest brother or the second brother was scolded, the others would not be able to escape. Sure enough, inertia is like this. Xiaopeng's side just stopped fighting, and Xiaokeng's side was implicated again. And you, Uncle Zhao said that you almost turned the world upside down. Did you use your martial arts to bully others? Okay, Mei Shui did it on purpose, she was just upset. After Xiaopeng and Xiaochen were scolded and left, Grandma he snorted, stood up directly, ignored Xiaoxiu, walked out of the main room and went to the backyard. Seeing her grandma like this, Mei Shui felt helpless. Grandma, it's her fault for bullying her great-grandchildren. After Xiaopeng and the others started school, Mei Shui's herbal medicine shop also started. Wang Xiaoao simply went over and spent half a month returning the tall medicinal food room in Mei Shui Huajian. Looking at the decoration inside, Mei Shui was very satisfied. So retro, this is the effect she wants. Mei Shui made arrangements for the 3 people who followed them one by one. The 3 people who followed were all named Yu, from the oldest to the youngest. The moon is gold, the moon is wood, and the moon is fire. There is no way, who told their village's name to be replaced by gold, wood, water, fire, and earth, but fortunately they can add words in the middle. Zheng Jin, from now on when you receive guests, you will be responsible for everything you order. There is also knowledge in ordering dishes, such as what is incompatible with each other, what is in conflict with others, etc. Zheng Jin's temperament is much more outgoing compared to the 2 of them, and he is also sharp-tongued. Yu Shenmu and others are better at cooking, and they can learn everything about cooking. Mei Shui has not been idle these days, teaching them how to make medicinal meals directly at home. Of course, she had written those formulas long ago. They all know the properties of the medicine, so it is not difficult to understand the formula. The difficulty is that none of them know how to cook, and their cooking skills are very unfamiliar. These days of training have finally paid off. She may take care of it at first, and then she can hand it over directly to them. However, I learned from their mouths that there were many good cooks in the village. Xiangxiu was wondering if she should go to their village and invite a few people back. The herbal medicine shop was soon opened for business. However, there was no opening ceremony, and a few old men were invited over for a meal. After that, it was handed over to them. If you want to come and eat and drink, you can't do it without getting some results. In order to eat the food cooked by Mei Shui, the old man turned into a rogue and kept bragging to his old friends. What you are doing is embarrassing. The old men are doing it one by one, based on the principle that if I am not embarrassed, you are embarrassed. Fortunately, a lot of people came here. After taking it for about a month, the herbal medicine shop became famous in the upper-class circles of Kyoto. Mei Shui really didn't expect this. End of this chapter. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 493. Chapter 493, The Fish Takes the Bait. However, of course she is still very happy when her business is doing well. How can making money come in every day make her unhappy? I have to say that the name of the store is Medicated Food Store because she was afraid that her grandma would be bored at home. Mei Shui asked her to come over and collect the money. The old lady was very happy about this. He also called 2 of his good sisters to come over and help him. They paid no wages, and they provided him with food and shelter every day. Grandma Lin and Grandma Xiu were very happy. They were all happy to be able to enjoy Mei Shui's cooking in an open and honest manner. Spend a little money to get whatever you want, as long as you can eat it, don't be afraid of spending money. The family is not short of this money. Actually, Mei Shui's price is quite expensive, but for these old men, they really don't lack the money. Looking at the store's revenue every day, the three old ladies lost their teeth in laughter. Old sister, you have to celebrate tonight. Today's income is higher than yesterday. Grandma Xiu counted the money, which made her happier than her own income. Grandma Lin is not lagging behind either, that is, we have to celebrate it properly and have a big meal anyway. How could Grandma He not satisfy the requirements of the old sisters? Okay, let's go buy groceries now and go home to cook in a while. It's not easy to have a big meal, so just go home and cook. The two of them were very satisfied with this. Eating this medicinal diet every day is not enough. That's a good relationship. I want to eat braised pork. I haven't eaten the braised pork you made for a long time. Grandma Lin looked greedy. Grandma Xiu is much more demanding, not only braised pork, but let's go, we will buy whatever vegetables are available in the market. She has a good appetite. Grandma He's mouth twitched. Aren't you afraid of holding on? It's really delicious. Don't be afraid, don't you think we will be the only ones at your house tonight? Don't understand the old man too well. Yes, some people are busy again. The three old ladies spoke to Mei Shui and left the store. Mei Shui directly asked Zheng Jin to collect the money. She still had dinner to finish, so she would be busy soon. Zheng Jin's head is very big. Boss, do we need to recruit more people? Sometimes there are so many people that we can't handle it. Mei Shui was thinking about it, but she didn't plan to recruit people from outside here. Wait a little longer. After the matter in your village is resolved, we will recruit people again. Even if she wanted to recruit people, she would only recruit people from their village. After all, they are my son's saviors. I will have to rely on them for this store in the future. Yu Zhenjin was very grateful to his boss for his words. Boss, your family are all good people, he said with red eyes. Stop flattering me here and get busy. After saying that, Mei Shui went into the kitchen. The reputation of herbal medicine shops in Kyoto is growing day by day. Mr. Sun also began to engage in external activities. Those who saw him were amazed. Everyone knew what it looked like before, but now, it looked so obviously healthy that they had to inquire about it. After learning the cause of the incident, everyone was concerned. Whether they started from others or directly from the old man, they failed to achieve anything. This makes many people anxious. One of them was the most unwilling. That's the boss. His illness is similar to that of Mr. Sun, and because he is in a high position, his mental consumption is even greater. Now that he saw that old man's son was recovering from his illness, he also started to think about it. No, we directly found the current heir of the Sun family, Sun Ming. Sun Ming is a bit clever. How can he, a small employee, be remembered by his superiors? Even if it is his own old man, he doesn't think the boss can have such a good relationship with him. Don't be nervous. After arriving at the boss's office, Sun Ming was very restrained, but even so, he was still a little scared. Seeing him like this, Boss No smiled and said, I'm not nervous, I'm just a little excited. It's my honor to meet boss number one in my lifetime. It's true that the Sun family is in a high position, but that was while the old man was still in a high position. But it's different now. Whether it's my father or my brother-in-law, neither of them can reach a high level or a low level. The Sun family may have no choice but to leave the old man in their own hands. You Sun family members are nice to talk to. Well, I came here today just to ask about your grandpa's physical condition. Your grandpa is a hero of our company, boss number one said very kindly. Looks like he really wants to care about his subordinates and senior leaders. Sun Ming is young, but he is not a fool. Coupled with the old man's teachings in the past year, he still knows many things that others do not know. For example, the boss in front of me. Outsiders often call him the smiling tiger. If you are not careful, you may be eaten without leaving any bones. No, Grandpa, he always said that everything he had was given by the company, and things like being a hero are exaggerated. Sun Ming is a slippery man. The smile on the boss's face is even bigger. If those familiar old men were here, they would definitely see the displeasure in his eyes. The brighter the smile, the angrier he is. As a junior, Sun Ming could not look directly at a high-ranking elder. To put it bluntly, if he was really a kind elder, he would not have left Sun Ming there for 10 minutes as soon as he came in, and now he was talking and laughing. Who believes it? Your grandpa hasn't done it yet, haha, you shouted. You're too careful. If your grandpa and the others have done nothing, then what do we think? There was a serious tone in his tone, as if he was unhappy with Sun Ming's denial of the old man's contribution. What is really going on is only known in his own heart. Yes, this junior is wrong, everything is the company's fault. Sun Ming is not stupid. This boss doesn't dare to say anything more. Can he say that it's not the company's fault? Okay, sit down. Boss No raised his hand and pointed to the mahogany chair on the right, asking Sun Ming to sit down. Sun Ming thanked him and sat down obediently, with only a third of his wet. I dare not sit down. And sit down. Isn't your grandpa's illness in the advanced stage? Have you received any effective medicine now? Boss number 1 began to make daily routines. Sun Ming was told by his grandfather a long time ago, and his grandfather also said that brother he has also prepared the next response, so if anyone asks, let him tell. What Sun Ming didn't know was that this was the decision of several of their old men to work together to deal with the superiors. Sun Ming is an obedient child, but he is also a person with a quick mind. He was reluctant to talk about it from the beginning, but then he revealed it bit by bit as if he was infected by the boss. It was only at the end of this conversation that the information in Sun Ming's mouth was finished. After Boss No sent Sun Ming away, he immediately called his confidant and asked him to come to his office. As soon as the person arrived, he started talking about the pills. The confidant was also one of the people who targeted the He family last time. Boss, why don't I go to He's house and ask them directly? This confidant was the person in charge of the affairs of Country X last time. His surname is Chia, his name is Shi, and he can be regarded as the #1 general under Boss Hao. No, let's do this. Let you go and inquire about it. If you really have this thing, buy it back. He is not the kind of person who oppresses. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 494. Chapter 494, Become Famous. Jia Shi became anxious when he heard that Yu was going to take action. Boss, don't bother him about this. I'll go and ask him later. He wanted to take the credit. When the boss of No heard what he said, he glared at him directly. Have you forgotten about the last time his family was forced to leave Kyoto? If it weren't for his good work last time, how could he be in this position now? The brain is still so hard to use. Not as good as less than. After being glared at by the boss, Jia Shi shut his mouth and did not dare to say another word. Yes, I'll call Yu right away. I felt very unsatisfied. Since I left the matter to Yu, why did I have to call myself over? The boss of No has no idea what he is thinking. Watching him go out, Boss No finally breathed a sigh of relief, as his body could hardly hold on any longer. If he doesn't get better, I'm afraid he will have to retire next year. He doesn't want to retreat yet. Of course, even if you want to retire, it is not because of illness. If he recovers from his illness, he will have much less power, which will be very detrimental to the development of his family. For the sake of the family's good reputation, all the people he employs are not from his own family, but are all promoted from below. Honestly loyal, but mentally he is still better than a family member who was educated at a young age. As soon as the boss of No. Took action, several old men and Hyans knew about it. Everyone smiled happily. The fish finally took the bait, right? The medicated diet shop also needs to promote itself. Mei Shui sat on the sofa and rested her head on Hyun's shoulder. You think, if someone is cured of their illness after taking our medicated diet, will those people be able to endure it? Life is alive, including birth, old age, illness and death. No one can escape or fight against us. You can try it, but don't suffer from the price. There are many medicinal materials in the space that can be used, and they won't lose money anyway. Those medicinal materials were grown in the area that Mei Shui had re-isolated. Apart from the fact that they are older and have normal growth in medicinal effects, there is nothing else in them. This is also the reason why they are so generous. After seeing Uemu and their village, they will directly develop the village into their medicinal material base. They will not disturb their village anyway, everything is up to them. Whether it's the front or the back, Mei Shui and Hyans have made very comprehensive arrangements this time. Jia Shi didn't know what boss know. He is not really stupid. Of course he has a backup plan for many things. He is not afraid that they will use him as a backstop. Besides, he was just following orders at the beginning. If you want to have a good relationship with the boss of number asterisk, you will take the support for the return of Xiang as a gift. What else can the people below say? Asterisk the boss's illness is getting worse now, I don't know. Thinking of this, Jia Shi's eyes lit up. He seemed to know something, but he couldn't figure it out. The boss no. Asterisk and that person have never dealt with each other. If this is true, then they have hidden it really deep. If he hadn't accidentally seen them meeting each other once, he would never have thought of it. Within a few days, Kyoto Medicinal Food House became famous. Just because there was a terminally ill old lady who was cured by their medicinal diet. Not to mention this, a paralyzed man fell to the ground. Of course, these rumors are somewhat exaggerated. But it is also true. Mei Shui would not do anything deceptive, but she didn't say she couldn't exaggerate. It is a rumor that the old lady was cured of her terminal illness, but it only makes her life better and less painful in the future. Just like pain relief, people only feel no pain, but once the condition is serious, people will still die. It's just that death is less painful. The paralyzed man was even more frightening. He just went racing and broke his leg. The hospital said he had nerve necrosis, and Mei Shui happened to have a medicinal recipe for this. Just let people eat it for a month, no, the legs are healed. She is conscious, but she still has to go to the hospital to recover. Mei Shui also told the patient's family about this and told them that this was medicated food, not medicine. Where there is one there are two, and when there are two there are three. One big event came out from the medicinal kitchen room one after another, causing those with surging thoughts to start taking action. Boss no. Is more direct, and Yu comes directly to the door. After asking a lot about the He family, he finally understood how powerful the He family was. It was so easy to be driven out of Kyoto back then, but I was afraid that it would also be a drag on the boss. If those old men hadn't turned against boss number one, even Tenjia Shi would not be able to shake the He family. The reason why they can leave is very simple, that is because boss no. Asterisk wants to conquer Xiongguo, and they have to help. Only take a step back as a last resort. Now that the asterisk country has been taken back, what else can they be afraid of? As soon as he got the news, Yu became more and more dissatisfied with Jia Shi. He is really not successful enough and more than capable of failing. He couldn't make up his mind about this matter, so he had to talk to the boss of No. So, after the boss of No. Asterisk learned about the powerful relationship. He met with Hyans in person as soon as possible. Hyans was not afraid and faced it head on. Seeing his aura, boss no. Asterisk was very unhappy. Are you the head of the He family? He said with a hint of dissatisfaction in his tone. Hearing what he said, Hyans smiled and said, it's me. I wonder what boss no. He has his arrogance. Now, except for, he is really not afraid of them. Of course, he loves and cherishes his own country. After all, this is the place where he was born and raised. Are you still a commoner, boss no? Asterisk S face changing skills are second to none. Change as soon as you say so. It's not a big deal to call you here. I just want to ask, is your medicinal diet really effective in curing diseases and saving people? Even though he was afraid of believing it, he also wanted to hear confirmation from others. Hyans smiled and said, those are all rumors. Our medicinal diet is just a way to maintain health, but it cannot cure diseases and save people. He is not stupid. Can eating it save people? Even if you can, you can't. It's the diners who are exaggerating. He won't admit it and will be furious with you. The boss of no. Asterisk really didn't expect him to say this. Like those people he met, no one praised themselves to the sky. Oh, that's right, I must have heard wrong. Don't be in a hurry, take your time. After chatting about some trivial matters, boss no. Asterisk asked again, I heard that Mr. Sun's medicine was provided by your wife. Hyans was really speechless when he got down to business now. He didn't deny it and just looked at him sitting above him with a smile. So, is there really such a good medicine, boss no? Asterisk was excited. Yes, but the medicinal materials are hard to find. At first, they were the property of a few old men, and each of them only got one pill. Now, even if there is a prescription, there is no medicine, Hyans said with a look of regret. End of this chapter. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 495. Chapter 495, Prescription. Then what medicinal materials are needed? The boss was excited. If there is, then, he might be able to compete. Even if it doesn't work out, there is still a junior around. Their family will not collapse. There are not many medicinal materials, but they are quite precious. It is their chance that the old man and the others can have them, Hyans said with a smile, as if he was very happy for the old man and the others. Then tell me what medicinal materials you need, and I will provide them. The pills will be mine when the time comes. After the boss finished speaking, he was stunned for a moment and smiled. I wonder if you have any left on your hands. If he remembered correctly, there seemed to be an old lady in the He family. No, there are only 5 pills in total, all given to them. Hyans shook his head. The medicinal materials are not from our family, and we didn't take the pills, but the old men paid for them. Hyans showed a very snobby look. Recognize money but not people. Haha, this is a small matter. Can you tell me the medicinal materials? Let's see if I can get a few pills. Who is not afraid of death in a high position? Hyans said generously, of course. So he listed out the medicinal materials he needed: 2 tails of Ganoderma lucidum with 1,000 years of meat, 1 ginseng of 500 years, and 1 sunflower plant of 100 years. Speaking of the latter part, some medicinal herb bosses have never heard of it. He felt that the man in front of him was lying to him, but after seeing the seriousness in his eyes, he shook his head. After all, they are civilians, and after the last suppression, they dare not lie to themselves. The boss of No Epsilon made countless turns in his mind until Hyans stopped. This is what he said about not having many medicinal materials. You have a lot of medicinal materials. He really didn't have any in his hand. Even if there is, it does not exist in the years he mentioned. It's not much. The medicinal materials are quite small. My wife has a beauty prescription in her hand, which contains 103 medicinal materials. That's quite a lot, He said with a smile. Why does a beauty treatment require so many medicinal materials? Even if they were available, they wouldn't require such old ones. Boss no. Was confused, but he was not in a hurry. Would you like to write it to me? He seemed a little embarrassed, but in the end he sighed and wrote to him. After Boss no sent the person away, he immediately called for his own people and asked them to discuss the recipe with them. Actually, anyone with a brain can understand clearly that any of the medicinal materials in it can bring people back to life if eaten. How come they are made into pills that are much weaker? That's right, Hians is all lying, but he's not afraid of others checking it out. It's all magic medicine anyway. Boss no took some time to verify, but in the end he learned that the prescription was effective, and the stone in his heart really fell, and Hian's senses also improved a lot. But because the medicinal materials were difficult to find, the boss felt that he had reached a dead end. But he couldn't force those old men. It was true that he was the boss, but those people were stubborn and he couldn't suppress them. If you become the boss. Mei Shui couldn't laugh or cry when she learned about the medicinal materials given by Hians. How dare you say that half of the ingredients were considered to be elixirs? How can ordinary people have it? Even if there is one, it is well hidden and will not show up easily. What's wrong with it? Maybe he can find it, Hian said with a smile on his face. Grandma, he sat aside and rolled her eyes at him. Wouldn't it be more convenient to eat him directly after finding him, and leave it to you? Would he be stupid? These medicinal materials are all legendary. If she had it, wouldn't it be delicious to eat by herself? The ginseng chicken soup should not be too delicious. Grandma, not everyone can see clearly that what he wants is not the power of the medicinal material itself. So, the human heart is not as strong as a snake swallowing an elephant. Idiot. After saying that, the old lady left the living room and went directly back to the house. Mei Shui is not afraid that he will find her, so she can just grab some longevity pills and be able to cope with the problem. Anyway, it has a great development effect on the human body. It is much better than health pills. But for ordinary people, taking health pills is enough, so there is no need to spend that money in vain. It has been several months since I returned to Kyoto. During this time, Mei Shui called Xiao 4 or 5 times. Grandma called Xiao very diligently at first. After taking over the cash register in the store, she felt a lot more relieved. No more phone calls every day. Xiao learned very well there. He also said that he would be very busy recently and would not have time to call home. Mei Shui certainly wouldn't bother him. Xiaopeng and the others are doing very well in Kyoto. They will take their junior high school entrance exams next year, and they are still very confident in themselves. By now Xiaopeng was busy and discussed a lot of traditional Chinese medicine with the village chief, which was very progressing for him. Every day I hold the medical book Mei Shui gave me and study it. Xiaocheng's life is much simpler. Accompanying Xiao Fufu to and from school every day is a joy. Boss no is becoming more and more interested in medicinal materials. Even the environment for traditional Chinese medicine in the country has been greatly improved. I don't know whether this is good or bad. The Spring Festival of 1999 is coming soon. The children, except Xiao, are all at home during the holidays. Xiao also called and said that he might not be able to come back this year, and everyone understood him. What everyone doesn't know is that he won't be lonely if he doesn't come back for the new year, because there is a noisy girl by his side. Since Hua found out that she and Xia were in the same school, she felt happy, especially when she found out that his mother bought him an apartment. She felt envious. No, she moved out of the day school without saying a word and moved to Xiao's home. Xiao was very speechless, but thinking that she would be his wife in the future, he could just live there, since it would be comfortable to live at home anyway. On the eve of the Spring Festival in 1999, News spread that the boss was seriously ill. This makes many people very sad. Mr. Shi and others went directly to mansion number 1 and guarded there, waiting for the boss to get better. Of course, some people are looking for trouble. Don't you have that medicine, Lao Sun? We know you took it, but what about yours, old man Shi? The boss of No has long publicized the fact that Mr. Shi and the other 5 have pills, and just wants outsiders to pay more attention to them. Causing some trouble for them, he just felt unbalanced. Why was it that he didn't have all the medicinal materials he had been looking for so long? And they actually got pills one by one. Uncle Shi is shameless, but he really thinks about boss number 1. I have the pills, but we took them as soon as we got them. All the nannies at home can testify to this if possible. He would also like to save his boss. No is no better than the boss, and it is impossible for Mei Shui to take action. After seeing Xiaoxiu and An's methods, they didn't dare to reveal anything about it. It's true that the boss No is seriously ill, but he is in good spirits and he can hear their conversation clearly. End of this chapter. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 496. Chapter 496, Porter. Of course he knows what kind of person Lao Shi is. If he didn't have it, there would definitely be no such thing. Besides, he has fulfilled his wish and is not afraid of life or death. At this age, life and death have long been taken lightly. The national affairs here are unknown to outsiders. Sadness that should be sad, preparation that should be prepared. Just before the Spring Festival, that one passed away. It was supposed to welcome the millennium, but unexpectedly. When hearing the news, Mei Shui and Hians looked at each other, but quickly looked away. Okay, don't put up window grills this year, it's not bad to spend the new year quietly, Grandma, he sighed. She has never had any contact with those bosses, and her greatest respect is to express her condolences. Mei Shui doesn't want her grandma to spend the new year in Kyoto. Grandma, why don't we take the children to Uemu's village, just in time to thank them? I originally wanted to go, but Xiaopeng and the others had a short vacation, so they decided to wait until next year. Hians also thought this idea was good and just left here. Grandma, let's go. We have to thank Xiaopeng's saviors. Besides, Xiaopeng said, the little girl who saved him is very beautiful, Hians said nonchalantly. Xiaopeng blushed with embarrassment. Grandma, he raised her head and glanced at Xiaopeng. She was happy to see him like this. Sure, let's go thank them. It just so happens that my family bought a lot of things, so it's not shameful to give them away. As soon as Grandma agreed, the family started to prepare. First, he told the 10 people who were leaving the village that they were going to their village. They really wanted to go back, but they couldn't let go of this place. In the end, they could only spend money to buy a lot of things and let them help them take them back to the village. Looking at the things piled up at home, Mei Shui opened her mouth. I think we can drive a truck there. Xiaopeng was unhappy. Mom, we have to go into the mountains. How can we bring these things in? The mountain road is not easy to walk, and we have to walk for several days. Mei Shui is also in a dilemma. She doesn't want to talk about the matter of space. She looked at Hians, hoping he could think of something. Fortunately, Hians said, it's okay. We'll just ask more people to help carry it into the mountains, it's just money. Their family is not short of money. After finding a solution to the problem, the family set out for the Miao village the next day. Your province is far away from Kyoto. It took them 7 or 8 days to drive on the road. Seeing that the Chinese New Year was getting closer, Hian's speed also increased. After spending so long, we finally arrived in Guizhou province. Without thinking too much, looking at Grandma's tired face, the family settled in Guizhou province that day. I plan to take a rest before entering the village. Hians couldn't rest. He went directly to the contact person Qianziang gave him the next day. He wanted to ask if there was a way into the village. Meixiu took her grandma and children for a walk around your province to see if she wanted to buy some things to take to the village. Anyway, according to Umu and the others, the village is really poor, and they are self-sufficient in food, clothing, and supplies. Grandma he can understand that kind of life, and without saying a word, she goes directly to buy clothes and cloth for the villagers. Fortunately, Mei Shui did this a lot when she was young, and it saved her grandma a lot of work. Hian's found Sun Ming's friend here. His surname was Guan and his last name was Lu. Official positions are no longer mentioned, so they are easy to be blocked. One chapter was blocked yesterday. Hian saw that he was younger than him, so he called him directly. Mr. Guan. At the end of the day, Guan Lu became very confused and asked him to call him by his name. Brother it's a bit difficult for you to bring so many things into the village. There are no flat roads there, all are mountain roads, and the road is still far away. He felt a little embarrassed. Hians doesn't think there is any difficulty. He will just ask some people to carry him into the mountains. At the worst, he will pay more money. His family is really not short of money now. It's okay, I'm going to hire some porters, and the wages will be higher. He had already thought of this. Guan Lu nodded and said, this is a good idea, but their village is really too secluded from the outside world. Now the province plans to let their entire village move out. The superiors are also very concerned about this matter. Of course, the main person who raised this matter is Qianziang. If it were anyone else, I'm afraid no one would notice this within 10 years. This is your official business. I'm just a businessman. It's better not to tell me. Hians interrupted him. Seeing him like this, Guan Lu knew that he was talking too much. I'm sorry, brother It's okay. Now that the road over there has been cleared, it won't be difficult to enter the village this time. After Hians got the answer he wanted, he didn't plan to stay here any longer. Hians stood up and said, then I won't disturb you. Brother why don't you have lunch here? Guan Lu asked. No, my family is still waiting for me. How could Hians stay? Guan Lu is a sensible person and will not be confused by people's expressions. That's okay, then I'll wish my brother a happy new year in advance. You are happy too. After leaving the government, Hians went back to the hotel directly. When he came back, he didn't see his grandma and the others. Knowing that they had gone out, Hians found the hotel manager when nothing happened. Manager Huang, help me find a dozen porters. I'm going to Miao Village. Miao Village is quite famous here in your province because it is a newly discovered village. Sure, I'll go find it for you right away. Manager Huang was very familiar with Hians. He was transferred here and had frequent dealings with Hians before. When Grandma and Mei Shui came back, they saw a truck following them. Seeing this car, Hians had a severe headache. Zioxiu, we can't carry so many things. He only invited a dozen porters. Meixiu glanced at him and secretly pointed at her grandma. He understood without saying anything. Hians sighed, and at this time, Manager Huang walked out of the hotel. Manager Huang, come here quickly. Hians screamed happily when he saw the person coming. Manager Huang had gotten off work and was about to go out for a drink, but unexpectedly he was stopped. Boss are you buying goods? Seeing the car in front of him, Manager Huang really didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Stop talking, it's more than the goods. You can call a dozen more porters for me, otherwise, there won't be enough people. Manager Huang felt dizzy. I found 18 for you today, do you still want them? With so many people, how many things are there to choose from? See for yourself, is that enough? Hians pointed at the truck, and Hians was also dizzy. Okay, I get it. 30 of them together are enough. No matter how many there are, he can find them. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 497. Chapter 497, I'm coming. That's enough. Before Hans could reply, Grandma he interrupted and said with a smile. Old lady, you are really naughty. You must have spent a lot of money on so many things. He knew that this old lady was very generous. The old lady glanced at him sideways and said, Boy, you are still so stingy, even stingier than the old lady and me. She remembered the person who bargained with her for those few dollars and cents. That is a grievance for Manager Huang. Who is it? This old lady is still as energetic as before, and her mouth is still so sharp. Old lady, you are generous, you are the most generous. He still suffered too little, and he dared to talk back to the old lady. Looking at Manager Huang's deflated look, Mei Shui laughed unkindly. Uncle Huang, please stop arguing with Grandma. My grandma is very generous. She bought a lot of things today. Seeing Manager Huang give the steps, Mei Shui immediately pulled her grandma down. Otherwise, with Grandma's virtue, she would definitely leave Uncle Huang speechless. Xiaoxiu is still so beautiful, my dear, your grandma is so happy. He was really envious. Uncle Huang used to follow Uncle Zhao. Later, after Qianziang went solo, Uncle Zhao asked him to follow Qianziang. More than 10 years have passed since he started working, and I look at him a little bit. He has black hair, he is still young, and he continues to work hard. Of course, who is like you, who is still running around at the age of enjoying happiness? How about it? Do you want me to take pity on you and take you to Miao village to celebrate the new year? The old lady was embarrassed. Mei Shui hurriedly grabbed her grandma, fearing that the fight would never end. Grandma, it's getting late. Let's have a good night's rest this year. We have to go to the village early tomorrow morning. Without saying a word, Mei Shui took her grandma away. When he left, he gave Uncle Huang a look to tell him to stop talking. Manager Huang is so angry. Hans was snickering from the sidelines. Uncle Huang, wait a minute, I'll go have a drink with you. Hans hurriedly comforted the person. He had no choice but to be pampered by his grandma. Manager Huang really snorted at Hans. Now that he is off work, he won't wait on you. No more drinking. Looking at Uncle Huang's leaving figure, Hans felt helpless. Fortunately, Uncle Huang is reliable, and they met him at the door of the hotel the next day. He came with about 30 people, and a few more people wanted to try their luck and see if the boss wanted more people. No, the Chinese New Year is coming soon, and they also want to make some money to celebrate the New Year. Hans didn't count carefully, but Manager Huang still said it in advance. Hans nodded. Since the people brought here by Uncle Huang are of course trustworthy, they will come as soon as they come, so I can help pick them out. He still has to give me this face. Besides, it's not much money. After agreeing, Uncle Huang arranged a car for them and drove them to the town below. The other side was closer to the village. Seeing that everyone was getting into their cars, Hans got into his own truck. Let's go. Seeing everyone getting ready, Hans drove directly in front to lead the way. It was 3 hours later when we arrived in the town. The car stopped on a newly built dirt road. Everyone got out of the car. Looking at the muddy road, everyone frowned. These actions were all seen by Hans and his family. Masters, I'll trouble you all next. His car doesn't need to be moved, just leave it here. There are 2 other cars from the hotel. They will unload the goods and drive away soon. The mobility of the 30 or so people is not to be boasted, and they moved all the goods from the car in a short time. Looking at them one by one picking up the goods, Hans felt that the previous money was too low. This road is not easy to travel, so let's do this. Everyone will suffer, and I will give everyone an extra 100 yuan when I come back. He grew up with a small amount of hardship, and now he can help as much as he can. Thank you, boss. Upon hearing this, the porters' faces immediately blossomed and they all laughed. Seeing that everyone was happy, Hians also laughed. Set off. Locked the car door, and he, Mei Shui and others walked at the end. Xiao Peng and Xiao Chen were very happy looking at the green mountains. Fortunately, it hasn't snowed yet in your province, otherwise it would have been more difficult to walk on this road. Grandma he is getting older, and Mei Shui and Hians helped her along the way. They are not worried about the two children, but they are worried about Grandma. Fortunately, the two of them had nothing. A lot of strength. Sometimes Hians carries it, and sometimes Mei Shui carries it. At around 7 or 8 o'clock in the night, I finally saw the village. Why can you see it? There is no other way, who can let Mei Shui and Hians have night vision. In addition, every house in the village has fire lights flashing out, and everyone can see them as long as they are not blinded. We're finally here. Along the way, everyone was in a hurry. To be honest, they were all very hungry. Grandma he looked at the village down the mountain, as if she had returned to the previous Hejia village. But this place is much more peaceful than Hejiakan. Let's go, Grandma, let's go down the mountain too. After climbing so many mountains, my body is not tired, but my heart is tired. Xiao Peng had already run to the front, and as soon as he entered the village, he shouted loudly. Village chief's wife, I'm back to see you. He said this when he left, saying that he would look back at everyone. Now he is finally here. Xiaoyuer, come out quickly. I'm brother Xiaopeng. Xiaopeng was very excited. He had no idea that his temperament had changed so much since he was at home, and he almost scared his younger brother Xiao Cheng to death. Second brother, are you crazy, brother Xiaopeng? He remembered that when Xiao Fufu called him that, he felt disgusted. Because of this, Xiao Fufu thought that her second brother didn't like her. Fortunately, her second brother treated everyone like this, so she became happy. What are you talking about? You are crazy. Perhaps because he was familiar with this place, Xiao Peng also became arrogant. Xiao Cheng didn't want to pay attention to this second brother. His second brother must be possessed by the mountain god. He is going to find his parents and ask them to take care of him. After Xiao Cheng ran away, Xiao Peng didn't notice him. Soon, there was a noise in the village. With so many people entering the village, of course they feel something. After hearing Xiao Peng's cry, the acquaintances immediately became happy, put on their clothes and ran out. Is Xiao Peng back? A loud voice came down from the mountain. As soon as he heard this voice, Xiao Peng became excited. I am the village chief's wife, and I'm back to see you. Xiao Peng shouted directly to the mountain. Okay, good boy. The village chief laughed halfway up the mountain. Mei Shui and Hian certainly heard their conversation, but they didn't expect their son to be so happy here. No wonder they felt comfortable letting their children leave with Xiao Peng. Grandma he saw that her great-grandson was liked by others, and she was also happy for him. Xiao Peng is a good boy, but I don't know how that girl is. Well, Grandma is still thinking about the little girl. End of this chapter. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 498. Chapter 498, Arrival. I'll see you soon, Grandma. Don't be impatient, walk slowly, don't fall if you are blind. But as soon as she entered this village, Mei Shui discovered the difference here. The medicinal essence here is very strong, more than 10 times stronger than those in traditional Chinese medicine pharmacies outside. The two looked at each other and smiled. It seems that we have come to the right place this time. I think the Xuemiao people have inherited this part of medicine. After Dabai returned to Kyoto, Hian sent him to Xiaobai's place. Xiao Hong was also sent in. Now there are no animals following them, and Xiao He was also sent in. Soon the village was brightly lit. The first 3 people were the elders and elders of the family. Seeing Xiao Peng leading so many people, the three of them became nervous. "Xiao Peng, why are you bringing so many people with you?" Chang Huo among the three was the first to ask. It's true that young people yearn for life outside, but the old men don't want their village to be destroyed. They said this the last time someone came here. Those who want to leave the village can leave, but those who don't want to leave will always be their home. Their roots. Hello, three great-grandfathers, these people are the porters invited by my parents. We brought too many things and we can't take them in, Xiaopeng said, a little embarrassed. Hearing what he said, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Your parents are here too. They didn't expect that Xiaopeng actually brought his parents here. Well, not only my parents are here, but my wife and brother are also here. Xiaopeng was happy to introduce his family to the villagers. Soon, the porters made way for the He family behind them to walk through. Everything is placed in its place. Fortunately, the square in the center of the village is wide, otherwise it would not be possible to put it there. Looking at the two young men supporting an old lady who was in good spirits, the three elders of the Chang family all took 2 steps forward. The old lady was very tired along the way. They know the rules very well. Grandma, he was very happy to see the 3 grown men being so polite. I'm not tired, but I'm hungry. We guys came here in a hurry and haven't eaten yet. I wonder if I can ask for some food. The old lady, it's a skinny one. As soon as the 3 old men heard this, they immediately made arrangements. The old lady doesn't need to beg. She is a guest when she enters the village. There is still food in our village. From the 3rd family, go and ask the eldest brother to come over and prepare meals for everyone. Yes, 3rd elder, I will go right away. As a result, the people in the village who came over started to act with sincerity. I'm going to pick some vegetables. There is some fresh meat at home, I'll go get it. I'll get the fish. There's still me. Everyone is very hospitable. Seeing them like this, he was very happy. But at this moment, she still remembered one thing. I heard that the person who saved my Xiaopeng was a little girl. I wonder if I can meet her. Well, the old lady came here just for that little girl. Kongjin and others also laughed when they heard this. It is normal for people to come to thank you. Here you are, that girl is still young, I'm afraid she didn't wake up. Chang Shui looked behind him, but he didn't see the girl Xiaoyu, so he immediately apologized. It's okay, it's okay. The child is still young, so it's normal. The old lady also loved her children. Soon, a group of people started working in the open space in the center of the village. It didn't take long for the aroma of the food to spread. Hungry people's stomachs growl. Mei Shui's family were all taken to the village chief's home. Looking at the village chief with childlike face and heavy hair, it was the first time for Mei Shui and he Ans to see such a strange person. The two of them had a lot on their minds, but you guys are tired from coming all the way. Let's make do with it tonight and rest. We'll talk about anything tomorrow. It was getting late, so the village chief saw what the two were thinking and said something to everyone. The food was also brought up by people from down the mountain. After eating, the He family chatted with the village chief here. Also thanked him for his kindness in healing Xiaopeng. Sure, then we'll trouble the village chief. Grandma, he was full and tired at this time. Hians finally pulled several senior elders out of the house. It's still very cold at night in the mountains. As soon as they came out, the cold wind blew, and the 3 of them were all excited. I wonder what's wrong. The 3 of them were a little confused. Well, I brought a lot of things to the villagers down the mountain. Some of them are cloth for food. I have to ask the 3 elders to arrange them. He was afraid that it would rain or snow at night, and then those things would be wasted. When they heard that the things they brought were for the people in the village, the 3 of them were shocked. There were quite a lot of people in their village. Wasn't this a big gift? Leave this matter to us, we will deal with it now. The 3 of them did not dare to wait any longer. The weather changed frequently at night, and they were not afraid to guarantee whether it would rain or snow tonight. Seeing the three of them rushing around, Hyans felt a little embarrassed. It's really a nuisance to others, and I can't sleep well at night. Back at the house, Mei Shui sent her grandma to the room where Xiaopeng slept last time. The village chief can't accommodate too many people here, so they have to go to the villagers' homes to stay. Let's go, I'll take you down the mountain. When the village chief saw that they had packed up, he got up and took them down the mountain. This night, I finally settled down. Lying in bed, Mei Shui couldn't sleep for a long time. Ans, have you noticed that the village chief is different? Unexpectedly, the village chief was surrounded by spiritual energy. They can only see spiritual energy after breaking through the innateness, but there is not so much spiritual energy surrounding them. Hyans hugged Mei Shui and patted her gently on the back. I see, I'm afraid this village is not simple. Yeah, they think too simply. I'm afraid that Worm Valley has something else to hide. Some people like them who can't sleep are gathering at the village chief's house. Village chief, Xiaopeng's parents are not simple. Changhuo was the one who spoke. He is a straight-tempered person who says whatever he wants and cannot hide it. If his eldest brother hadn't stopped him today, he would have gone forward to ask. The village chief nodded and put down the teacup in his hand. Yeah, I didn't expect that. Apart from us, there are still people in the world who practice spirituality and practice to this extent. You know, it took him almost 100 years to reach the second level, but they are only so old. He could see that it would not take long for them to reach his realm. After hearing what the village chief said, the three brothers fell silent. Seeing them like this, the village chief became very angry and said, "Tell me about you. It's been so many years and you haven't even reached the stage of feeling angry yet. Uncle Ji, you can't blame us. The spiritual energy in this world is getting less and less. No matter how hard we practice, we can't find the sense of energy." Kongjin also wants to make a breakthrough. Once they break through the first level of Qi training, their lifespan will also be greatly improved. Even though they are the only ones in the village now, there are quite a few fourth-level people in the main line, and they all have a lifespan of 200 years. End of this chapter. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 499. Chapter 499, The Children are all ready to succeed. After the fifth level, it will be 500 years. Alas, it is a pity that the world is gradually changing. It is really difficult to break through now. Goldfire and Metal Water also agree with their elder brother's words. Uncle G is only on the second floor. Fortunately, the village chief doesn't know what they think, so it won't be difficult to clean up the house. Don't consider your descendants. Although they are not his own children, they are still the sons of his eldest brother's family. Well, this time might be our chance. It's been so many years. If we don't get closer, it will take 100 years. The village chief sighed. The three of them were very well behaved, quite different from what they usually do in the village. We are all in the same way. They will definitely come over tomorrow. We have been away from the world for too long. We should ask them about some things. The way of cultivation cannot be achieved by hiding from the world. Yes. A dreamless night. Everyone slept peacefully until dawn. Mei Shui and Hyans got up early and wandered around the village. The villagers who met them were very enthusiastic and introduced them to the scenery of their village one by one. However, in the entire village, except for the village chief who was surrounded by spiritual energy, no one had spiritual energy, which really surprised them. Go back. I looked around and found nothing special. The only special thing is the medicinal materials grown in the village. Each medicinal plant contains aura, but it cannot be compared to her dimension. Mei Shui has no objection. She didn't have much thought about immortality in the first place. Well, let's go. After the two returned to the village, the porters from yesterday had all had breakfast and were now waiting for the boss to settle the bill and then go home. Seeing the boss coming, a group of people gathered around him. "Boss, it's getting late, we should go down the mountain. A leader stepped forward and said to Hyans and Mei Shui. Hyans understood what they meant. You worked hard yesterday. This is your wages. You can give everyone a share. He had prepared the money last night. It's just that they haven't gotten up yet when we went out in the morning. The man took the money and was very grateful. Thank you, boss. He was very excited when he saw a large stack of money being handed into his hand. Since he was a child, he has never seen so much money. Hyans gave me a little extra money. If there is more, take it and have a good meal after you come down from the mountain. It will really trouble you along the way. The porters took the money and thanked the boss before leaving the village. The village suddenly became deserted. However, when the two of them arrived at the village chief's house, they didn't find their two sons. As soon as she arrived at the village chief's courtyard, Mei Shui asked strangely, "Grandma, where are Xiao Peng and Xiao Cheng?" This early in the morning, people disappeared. Grandma, he had just finished breakfast and was talking to the village chief. When she heard the question, she looked at Xiaoxiu and said, "The little girl took her out to play." Hearing this, Mei Shui took a serious look at her grandma and found that she was very satisfied with the girl in her mouth. It seems that Xiao Peng's future wife has been found. "Oh, that's really unfortunate. I haven't seen the child yet," Mei Shui said curiously. The village chief smiled at this time. "That girl is a good girl, she has good bones, but she is a little lazy." After the village chief finished speaking, he stared at the two of them closely. "I want to find something out of their eyes, but it's a pity." Well, since the village chief also said that the child is good, it seems that he is really good. "I don't know if our family is so lucky," Mei Shui said with a smile. Hyans smiled silently and poured himself a cup of tea. "Xiaoxiu, the old lady quit now. Since it's so good, how could she let it go? What do you think we make an appointment with her family?" The old lady's old habit happened again. Mei Shui twitched her mouth. "Grandma, why don't you be so direct?" The village chief was startled, laughed out loud and said sincerely, "Young lady has discernment, let me tell you." Mei Shui and Hyans were speechless. It turned out that the village chief was a talkative and gossipy man. It seems to be in line with grandma's appetite. Seeing how happily they were chatting, Mei Shui and Hyans withdrew. It's time for them to visit Xiaoyu's child's family. Go back to the house to get some things, and distribute those things to the villagers later. I'm just going down the mountain to talk to some heavy elders about this. Grandma forgets things when we talk, so it is better for them to finish the things first and tell her. I think so. So the two came to the village chief for a walk and then went down the mountain. I happened to meet three elders of the Chong family who were coming up the mountain. Seeing the three of them, Hyans and Mei Shui immediately went to say hello. Are the three elders going to the village chief's house? The three of them stopped and laughed when they saw the person coming towards them. We are here to find you, Boss He and Boss Mei. The things you brought yesterday are still in the warehouse. What should we do with them? Well, they have never seen the world. When I was moving yesterday, I saw the tip of the iceberg, and my heart was a little frightened. Looking at their honest looks, Hyans also smiled and said sincerely, we were planning to go down the mountain to deal with it, and you just happened to be here, which saves us the trouble of looking for it. Hyans immediately discussed with the three of them where to go. When they heard with their own ears that things were distributed to the villagers again, the three old faces burst into smiles. Leave this matter to us. The three of them immediately took over the important task. Then, the five people walked towards the warehouse. Hyans wanted to take out some things and take them to Ji's house later. He had to thank them. The things they proposed were not many, but they were also the most valuable among them. The three elders all smiled and said nothing. In my heart, I identify more and more with this family. They are very good people and worth making friends with. It would be better if you could help them. Of course, they don't force it. Having been here for so many years, it doesn't last more than a few days. Hyans brought 4 or 5 gift boxes, which were all prepared long ago. Because space is not easy to use, these things can only be taken out and put together. The rest will be troublesome to the three of us. Hians thanked the three of them. No trouble, but we have to thank you. If it weren't for you, we wouldn't be able to see these things, Kongjin said with a smile. They are truly grateful. It's a little thought, I hope everyone likes it. Migzu also picked out a bunch of things. These are the things Uemu and the others brought to their families. I'll have to ask you to help call their families and let them take them back later. Mei Shui took the things Uzimu had prepared into her hands. There are no large appliances, but they are just things that are fashionable and suitable for family use. Having food and clothing. Fortunately, it's not too heavy. These packages are prepared by Uezumu for his parents. We just happen to be there, so we'll take them away first. Mei Shui pointed to the things at his feet and said. Sure, I'll trouble you. Of course the three of them had no objection. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 500. Chapter 500, My Son Has Made a Difference. Mei Shui and Hians went to Ji's house with their things. This morning they found out Ji's door. Nowhere to drive. There is no need for anyone to lead the way at this time, you can go directly. As soon as they appeared in the village, they were immediately noticed by the people working around them, and everyone smiled at them. The two of them also responded one by one. Arrived in front of Ji's house, Hians shouted twice inside, and soon a middle-aged man walked out of the house. Looking at his attire, I was afraid that he was going to go into the mountains. Hello, Uncle Ji, we are He Shipeng's parents, and we came here specifically to thank your family today. When Hian saw someone coming out, he immediately explained his intention. Ji's father was very happy when he saw the visitor, not to mention what Hian said made him even happier. No thanks, come on, come in. The people in the village are still very simple. There are definitely some small thoughts, but they will not lose their character. After entering the Ji family's door, Mei Shui and Hians glanced around, taking in the entire Ji family at a glance. Simple wooden house with a fence surrounding the yard, presumably to prevent animals from coming down the mountain. There are medicinal herbs planted in the yard. Some medicinal herbs have been harvested, but some are still growing green. Even if the cold wind blows, they will sway their waste branches with the wind. The medicinal power is strong, and it makes people feel refreshed as soon as they come in. It seems that this family's planting skills are well known in the village. Have you had breakfast? Ji's father asked because he had just eaten. Ji's mother walked out from the back of the house at this time and said, Dad, who is here? Ji's mother had been busy behind and didn't know who was coming. It's Xiaopeng and his parents who are here. Mom, hurry up and pour water for the guests, Ji's father immediately said to his wife. Looking at them getting along, the two of them just feared that their lives would be happy. Hey, I'll be there right away. Ji's mother glanced at the people who came, and immediately nodded to them with a smile. You guys sit down quickly, the hot tea will be ready soon. It's made at home, not as good as what you have outside. Aunt Ji, don't belittle yourself. Who said the things in the mountains are bad? We used to live off the mountains when we were in our hometown. After all, she was a woman, so Mei Shui took over the conversation casually. Besides, compared to the city, she prefers life in the mountains, which is simple, comfortable, and quiet. If she could, she wouldn't want to leave Hejiakan. Hearing her words, both members of the Ji family laughed and said sincerely, it's fine if you don't dislike her. Soon after sitting down, Ji's mother came out with her own tea. Here, have a taste. This tea was wild tea found in the village, and it was quite fragrant. The output is not high, and each family can only get a little bit. They are reluctant to drink it on weekdays, and they just put it away until guests come. As soon as the tea arrived, Mei Shui smelled a refreshing fragrance. After smelling it, she felt refreshed. She looked at the tea in the cup curiously. "This tea smells so good," he mumbled softly. But in this quiet environment, her voice was heard by everyone. The Ji family couple were very happy that their things were liked by others. "You would like to drink more later. This tea is picked from a wild tea tree in the mountains. There is only one season a year, and each family can only get about 1 kilogram of the output in one season." Seeing that they liked it, Ji's father immediately gave it to them. "Give away your own stuff." After taking a sip of tea, both He-Ans and Mei Shui noticed a difference. Since the breakthrough, their skills have changed. Because not much force is used here, Xiaobai gave them a method that focuses on spiritual cultivation. Others may not notice it, but this tea actually has a refreshing effect. This is a treasure. After the two of them were reconciled, they did not dare to accept the tea. "But you can go and have a look at the tea trees, maybe you can find 1 or 2 seedlings to plant into the space." "Uncle Ji, this is good tea. Drinking this tea for a long time is good for your health." Mei Shui put down the cup and said to the two of them. "Oh, there's another saying, we really don't know. It just tastes better and makes you more energetic after drinking it." Ji's father obviously didn't take it to heart. Meixiu didn't say anything more. She and He-Ans took a look. There were people who practiced martial arts in the whole village, but they were not very good at it. Going up a mountain or something was enough. The most powerful among them are probably the 3 elders of the Chong family. The village chief is probably out of the ordinary. He can be surrounded by spiritual energy. Maybe he has a greater fortune. After all, it's someone's private matter, and it's not easy for them to interfere too much. "I wonder if Ji Buletin can take us to take a look at the old tea tree," He-Ans asked at this time. "The main reason is that this tea is so good. I want to see if I can get a small seedling to take home and plant it at home. Maybe I can drink such wonderful tea in the city." "Haha, it's a small thing. I just plan to go up the mountain. I will take you there later." Of course, Ji's father did not disagree with this matter. Meixiu felt superior to him when she heard this, but she still had things to explain. "By the way, Uncle Ji, Aunt Ji, these are the things Uezamu asked us to bring back to you," Mei Shui said before putting the things she brought in front of them. "That boy, he finally remembers us as parents. I wonder if he is okay outside." Ji's father is not worried about his child, but he is just too embarrassed to go up and ask. "I came back late last night and was afraid that they would be tired, so I didn't dare to go forward and ask more questions. I originally wanted to ask about it today, but it was early in the morning and I was afraid that people would be sleeping, so I never went. He plans to go up the mountain to catch some game and come back. Then he will invite people to his house for a meal or something, and he will ask about it later." Meixiu didn't hide anything and directly told them about Uezamu's current situation. After learning that their son was working under Mei Shui, the couple was very grateful. Especially the money Zimu brought back made the two of them shed tears of joy. "Don't cry. This is a good thing. It proves that Zimu is a promising person." She was still very happy about Zimu's skill in growing medicinal herbs. Herbal medicine shops will definitely open bigger and bigger in the future, and now Qianxiang's hotel is also planning to launch one, which requires a lot of manpower for these medicinal materials. "That's right, Dad, why are you crying?" Ji's mother felt a little embarrassed. She wiped her tears, pushed her man, and said with a smile. Ji's father looked helpless. He had no choice. What else could he do to his wife? Just pamper her. "Okay, my fault, don't cry, haha, my son is going to be successful." As he spoke, Ji's father started laughing. Looking at the two of them getting along, Mei Shui would also smile. After their moods calmed down a bit, Mei Shui took out some more things. This was the thing she took out from the space. End of this chapter. 80s. the farmer's wife is the boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 501. Chapter 501, Opportunity. She secretly put it into a package when there was no one on the road. Uncle G, these are the money that other people ask to bring back. I don't know their family, can you help me deliver it? Mei Shui was mainly lazy. She didn't want to deal with too many people. Before Ji's father could say anything, Ji's mother immediately stood up and said, "Leave this matter to me. It's better not to go to those people who can't beat him." She had to show off. Mei Shui also talked about the conditions of the other 9 people, and found that all of them were in good condition. It's just the Chinese New Year. I'm busy over there and can't come back for a while. If there is a holiday next year, I think they will definitely come back. Ji's mother was very happy for the family after hearing this. It's good that the children are safe. Dad, please take Xiaopeng's parents for a walk in the mountains and help him look for seedlings. I'll go find Shui and the others. Ji's mother couldn't hold it any longer. Ji's father looked embarrassed when he saw his wife like this. Yours mother is like this, he said somewhat naively. It's okay, my aunt is very good-natured, Mei Shui continued with a smile. So Ji's father took the 2 of them and set off directly to the back mountain. The wild tea tree grows a little out of the way, and people in the village might not be able to find it. It relies on a cliff in the back mountain, and picking it usually makes the villagers very troublesome. However, because of the taste, everyone still insists on picking it every year. They didn't meet Xiaopeng and the others on the mountain, maybe they weren't in the back mountains. However, the aura of the back mountain is so full that both Mei Shui and Hians are a little reluctant to leave. The environment here is really good, you can't find such a good place outside now. Hians looked down the mountain and sighed. Ji's father smiled and said, but the conditions in the village are not as good as outside. Compared with the village, young people prefer to go outside to see. People of their generation may not have that ambition, but children are different. They are still young and at the age of curiosity, and they are more yearning for the outside world. Otherwise, there wouldn't have been so many people out at once last time. It's incomparable. Everyone has different ideas. If I asked you, Uncle G, to choose, would you choose life in the city? Hian smiled and shook his head. The topic returned to Father Ji. Without thinking, he shook his head and said in denial, I definitely won't go to the city, but if the children are willing, we can only accompany them. He didn't want to, but for the sake of their children, they were still willing to go to the city. Mei Shui and Hians both understood this. By the way, Uncle Ji, the province plans to relocate the people in the village this time. What are your plans? Hians never found a chance to ask them about this. Ji's father knew about this, and the village chief didn't hide it from them either. As for this matter, half are willing and half are unwilling. For example, the older people are unwilling to leave the village, but the person who came last time said that it doesn't matter if you don't want to, but you have to register. Ji's father explained the arrangements for the last visit. Hearing this, Mei Shui had a new idea. Uncle Ji, do you think the villagers would be willing to build a house in the village? The environment, spiritual energy, here is so good that they are reluctant to leave. Excluding space, this was the place where they saw the most spiritual energy. You have to ask the village chief about this, we can't make an idea, Ji's father said with certainty. There has never been any precedent for outsiders moving here in their village, so he doesn't know about it either. Hearing that he wanted to ask the village chief, Hians felt that the matter was half done. And Mei Shui looked at each other, and both of them smiled. After walking for almost an hour, they finally arrived at the tea tree. Looking at the ancient tea tree, Mei Shui was shocked. She pulled Hians and said with her mind, there is something wrong with this tea tree. Not only did she notice it, but Hians also noticed something different when he got closer. Well, be careful, unlike Uncle Ji, they are people with stronger martial arts. Now they are practitioners. I am still very precautious about the vibration of the mind, and I am afraid that I will fold it here. As they got closer, it became more and more difficult for the two of them to walk. My mind started to get confused. They knew that if they continued like this, they would lose consciousness. The two of them stood there, not daring to take another step forward. At this moment, Mei Shui's space also began to vibrate. That tea tree also slowly changed. This scene did not appear in Ji's father's eyes. He didn't react at all. He closed his eyes as if being fixed by someone. It's just that neither he nor Mei Shui noticed it. The tea tree slowly changed in their eyes, and they saw that the tea tree that was only denser before turned into a golden light. The golden light grew from weak to strong, shining bit by bit in their eyes. Only when they couldn't bear it anymore, they closed their eyes. Of course, his consciousness was also covered in golden light, completely falling into chaos. If Xiaobai were here, he would definitely find that this tea tree has a lot of history. It's a pity that Xiaobai is not here. Fortunately, this thing relies on fate, and the two of them have a fate with this tea tree. The tea tree exuded golden light until the golden light condensed into substance, slowly enveloping the entire tea tree and the three of them. The changes here directly triggered changes in heaven and earth. The village chief and 3 senior elders also discovered something was wrong here. He ran directly to the village chief's house. "Uncle Ji, look over there." The 3 of them knew where that place was. The village chief looked at the changes in the sky and smiled bitterly. "I didn't expect that its destined person would be them." After hearing this, I knew that the village chief must know the difference of this tea tree. "What can we do?" Kongjin became anxious. "Does he know that the tea tree is important to the village?" "It's okay. Since it's their opportunity, we can't force it to stay. Remember, in the future, don't offend others. It seems that the hope of our descendants lies in them." However, after the change of heaven and earth, he no longer expressed hope. "Uncle Ji, is this life?" the old village chief often said. "This is life." Now, the hopes of the younger generations of their village are actually placed on outsiders. Yes, this is fate. From now on, let them be the main ones. Maybe there will be a different world. The village chief is a very open-minded person. Kongjin and others are still a little unwilling. "Can't you leave some of it?" It's not like they didn't cultivate tea trees again, but none of them survived. "It's useless. The only one that can produce that kind of tea is that one tea tree." No matter what the village chief and the 4 of them planned, Mei Shui and Hians were replaying their lives in their own minds. This time, they chose a different path. Mei Shui was not reborn this time. She died directly under the encirclement of the base leaders. Looking at her body slowly disintegrating, she smiled and got free. But just when she gave up her resistance, a voice appeared in her head. End of this chapter.